Grandpa built an escape room in his basement. His will said first one out gets everything. We've been trapped for 6 hours. Grandpa Bowen spent 3 years building something in his basement. Wouldn't let anyone see it. We figured it was just another one of his projects. He was an engineer. Puzzles were his whole personality. Then he died, and the lawyer read his will. Whoever escapes the basement first gets everything. House, savings, all of it. My cousins Cameron, Alani, and Vincent practically sprinted downstairs. They'd visited Grandpa maybe twice in the last 5 years. I was there every Sunday. They didn't notice. They never did. The room was insane. Wires, panels, locks, riddles carved into the walls. Cameron immediately started barking orders. Alani and Vincent followed. Nobody asked what I thought. That was fine. I was used to watching. Grandpa always said that was my best quality. You listen, he told me once. That's rare. 6 hours in, I was still listening. My cousins had stopped. The first puzzle took 2 hours. Cameron solved it. The answer was patience. A hidden panel opened. Everyone high-fived. Nobody thought about the word. The second puzzle took another hour. Symbol matching. Alani cracked it. The answer was kindness. Another panel. More celebrating. Still nothing clicking. Hour 4 is when it fell apart. The third puzzle was impossible. A logic grid with no obvious solution. Cameron accused Vincent of messing up the sequence. Vincent accused Alani of pocketing a clue. Alani called them both idiots. I sat against the wall, watching, thinking, patience, kindness. Those weren't just answers. Those were Grandpa's words. The same things he told me every Sunday while we sat in his workshop. Patience first, kindness second, and always listen. I looked up. My cousins were still screaming. Hour 5, they stumbled into the answer. Listen. The final door appeared. Steel. Keypad. 6 letters. Cameron tried Grandpa's birthday. Nothing. Vincent tried his address. Nothing. Alani tried random words. Legacy. Puzzle. Winner. Nothing. 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 I stood up slowly. Nobody noticed. They were too busy arguing about what they'd missed. But they hadn't missed a clue. They'd missed the whole point. Patience. Kindness. Listen. Grandpa's 3 lessons. And underneath all of them, one word. The word he said more than any other. Every holiday. Every visit. Every time I walked through his door. I knew what it was. I'd heard it 1,000 times. My cousins hadn't heard it once. I walked to the keypad. Cameron was still yelling at Vincent. Alani was checking the walls for hidden compartments. None of them saw me. I typed 6 letters. Family. The keypad beeped. The door clicked. Swung open. The room went dead silent. Cameron turned around. What did you... He couldn't finish. Nobody could. Behind the door was a small room. Empty except for a table. On the table was a single envelope with my name on it. I picked it up, opened it, read it out loud. If you're reading this, you figured it out. The puzzles weren't about being smart. They were about listening. Patience. Kindness. Listen. I said those words every time you visited. And family. That's the one I said most of all. Because that's what matters. That's the only thing that ever mattered. I paused. There was one more line. The answer was always right in front of you. It's what I talked about every time you visited. I looked at my cousins. Then I read the last sentence. If you visited. Nobody spoke. Cameron stared at the floor. Alani wiped her eyes. Vincent just stood there with his mouth open. Grandpa knew exactly who would win. He knew the whole time. My cousins drove home in silence. Nobody argued about the will. Nobody threatened to sue. They knew. The next week, I got the keys to Grandpa's house. I walked down to the basement. The escape room was still there. All the puzzles, all the panels, all the clues. I stood in front of the keypad and smiled. 6 letters that my cousins never would have guessed. Not because they weren't smart, because they weren't there. Grandpa always said the best puzzles teach you something. He was right.